we've got something a little bit different for you guys today. I am on my way now to meet Lucy Charles-Barclay. Not just that, actually, I'm supposedly joining her for a day of training. That said, the first thing is a swim. So I don't know how much joining and training is going to go on, but it should be a fun one. Amazing venue, but why do some athletes insist on training so early? 6:20 for a swim. All right, so I found Lucy. Reese has already jumped in. He's super keen this morning. Why so early, Lucy? Oh my goodness.
Wow, yeah. I feel like, I want to say I'm getting used to it, but you know.
So you're not a morning, but you don't really like used to it when it starts.
I mean, it's always tough getting up. I'm always really happy when it's over.
Yeah.
And I've just heard we've got VO2 back this morning.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, yeah. Right, okay. What else are we doing today? So, swim this morning, got a bit of time for a coffee.
We'll definitely have time for a coffee, and we're going to do a bit of a bike ride over here as well.
Perfect. Alright, okay, well, I won't hold you back. Let's jump in and I'll hopefully survive these VO2 efforts.
See the clock from there?
Arms are already falling off.
Sorry.
It's not painful. I meant to descend that one. I think I just got slower throughout. That was a pretty tough session.
Yeah, it's quite fun for a Monday morning.
Well, I probably thought it was easier. I found it very tough. Swim course done. Still for plan A, staying in.
Yeah, I'm going to do another half an hour, 40 minutes.
Alright. I might call it there, you know what?
That's a solid effort.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. What's that, 3K?
Yeah, 3K.
3K. Okay, cool. What can you do now then?
So I'm just going to do 10 200 form paddles.
Bit straight.
A bit trim.
Alright. Maybe I'll give a couple a go. Swim done then?
Swim done.
How far did we go?
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Pretty for me. Yeah, I was going to say I feel like a fraud. I did about 3K, yeah. Cool. Coffee then?
Yeah. Perfect.
Brilliant.
And then go ride around in the freezing cold.
Does it like sunny though? Just at least something.
There's no sun in here.
No, look, you can see it. I will.
I think that's a light.
No, it isn't.
Well, thanks for inviting me along for this. I'm literally just recovering right now. My arms are like falling off. But thanks, that was really cool. We didn't really get a chance to properly chat before we jumped in. It was just 6:30, bleary-eyed, diving in the pool. Who are we swimming with today? I have no idea who I was swimming with. We were in with a squad. Is that a squad you train with a lot?
Yeah, so they're the newer Masters squad, which I think I joined probably about this time last year. I'd been swimming at London Aquatics Centre on my own pretty much every morning. They were like, oh, why don't you jump in with us? And it looked like they had a good group, and some of them are really high-level swimmers. And we do a real mix of swimming. So this morning we were doing building to VO2 max, and definitely goes quicker when you've got a group to swim with. So, yeah, it's been quite nice to jump in with them.
How did you find that, actually? Because obviously they're swimmers, or predominantly swimmers, right? So it's not always going to be triathlon orientated. Do you sometimes turn up and be like, oh, Christ, this is not the session I was hoping for today?
Yeah, I mean, last week we did 5 100s max from a dive off like 6 minutes. So real like lactate tolerance, which is completely different to what we would do as triathletes. And then I think I always stay in for another hour just to get what I need from it. But I think it's quite nice to do different things like that. Yeah. And also turning up having no clue what you're going to do. I find sometimes easier to get out of bed than knowing exactly what the session is. And you're like, oh, God.
Worrying about it the night before.
Yeah, exactly.
And cursing Reese for setting that horrible session.
Exactly.
Is it better for you guys then? Reese is happier.
Yeah, less work for me.
Nice. Well, right, I want to chat a little bit about, your last season, because obviously it was a bit of a roller coaster year, wasn't it? Great start to the year. You're obviously coming off of the injury, and then you were sort of recovering.
Bit of a downward roller coaster.
It just went down.
But yeah, you had a great start, and then obviously a lot happened. So you want to talk me through sort of the journey, I guess, of 2024?
Yeah, I think obviously after Kona 2023 having such a big injury, it was quite ambitious to want to be back on a start line in March, and we did it, and we had some great success, and we kept kind of building on that. I had a really good race at Ironman France and started to feel really confident for the World Champs in Nice because I had just enjoyed the race so much and the atmosphere there was incredible. So we went away, we did a great camp after T100 London where I DNF'd, which was probably one of the lowest points of the year, sort of the home race and not finishing. And
yeah, presumably you had all your family and friends there.
We had all the family and friends there, and so many of them have never actually seen me race. So to DNF there was really heartbreaking. But then we went away to Lanzarote and did an amazing 6-week camp, felt in incredible shape. Got out to Nice feeling really confident, and then like 2 days before the race I tore my other calf. So
now that DNF in London, was that more of a preventative, like you just didn't feel something didn't feel quite right?
Yeah, I was just having a bit of an Achilles flare up there, and when you knew you've got the World Championship so close, it was like, actually I think it's smarter just to pull the pin and not do anything that's going to cause big damage. And then unfortunately probably should have just hammered that one home, and if I'd known what was going to happen in the future anyway. But we almost did call the season there, to be honest, because we just felt like we're not sure how things are going. But
you had found out you were celiac, so it was kind of turned everything on its head once we got that diagnosis.
And
we
was
had to
that
overhaul everything?
In some ways a positive, like finding out that potentially there was a reason and a cause for all of this?
Yeah, I think so. It definitely answered a lot of questions. I'm even looking back as far as in my swimming days when I used to do a swimming competition and then have horrendously bad stomach pain and joint pain afterwards. Like my parents and I just thought it was because I'd absolutely smashed myself, but actually it was because I'd carb loaded on pasta going into the race. And actually when we look back at pretty much every Ironman we've done, I'll be carb loading on pizza and pasta going in, which is full of gluten. So effectively I'm just poisoning myself before I go and do a race. Yeah. So I think definitely it feels like a positive having those answers. And then it's also, okay, what can I actually achieve now we know this, and I can fuel myself correctly and actually start to absorb what I'm eating in my nutrition, because when I was eating gluten I didn't absorb anything from my diet. So it would explain why I had so many injuries, and hopefully, touch wood, that means that we're going to have a lot less of those, because I actually do feel a lot healthier. And
Has it been a struggle sort of diet-wise trying to figure out what you need to eat, and also I guess that restriction on even just the smallest amount you're trying to, obviously you can't have any really, can you, with celiac disease? Yeah,
it's definitely been a learning curve. I think from my whole life I've just eaten everything. I think when you're an athlete you're hungry all the time, so you just pick up something and eat it. You're not really reading labels and looking what's in it. So that's been the biggest adjustment, is that actually I probably need to check that I can eat this. And it's quite surprising how many things have gluten in them. Things like soy sauce and things like that, you're actually like, oh God, I can't add that to my food now. So yeah, it's definitely just been a learning curve. But I think as athletes, we're so used to making sacrifices, it kind of just feels like another one. But this is also for my health as well, so it feels bigger than just being an athlete.
Okay, well, talking of your swimming days and everything, how like looking back on what you used to do as a swimmer and now, what would you kind of say to yourself back then as a swimmer, or are there obvious differences? Or like, I look back on my swimming days and I just think it was just so basic in some ways. And actually what I've learned from triathlon, it's so scientific. Have you got any observations there? 'Cause I find that whole comparison really fascinating.
Yeah, I think, well, we obviously used to swim together at Hatfield, and some of the training we used to do there was just brutal. Like every single morning in the pool at 5:15, 2.5 hours. Swimmers would go off to uni, I'd go off to school, and then we'd do it all again in the evening, and we'd just be getting absolutely smashed, but you just do as you were told, like you just get on with it.
And I guess there is, like, because swimming, you're non-weight bearing, there is an element where you probably can push it a bit more and more often in a week, right? But equally, there's no measurement as to the fatigue levels and how you're doing it. You're just turning up and do what the coach says, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have much data apart from how far you'd swam. You wasn't really looking at heart rate or lactate or anything scientific like that. I think it was quite old school in a way, like more is better, more, and you're going to swim faster. And that mentality was kind of ingrained to most of the swimmers, like the more you do, the better you're going to perform. Then moving over to triathlon, you realise, okay, we can train a lot smarter than that. It's not all about volume.
I think it's changed now. They do much more specific swimming, race pace and ultra race specific training. But yeah, back when we were training swimming 10, 15 years ago, it was just the more is better. And it was almost like you were the odd one out if you weren't doing 10 sessions a week. So.
You were pointed out and said you haven't done enough sessions.
Yeah.
It's a good grounding, though, for what we're doing
Absolutely.
now, right? Yeah. Today, then, who is the team around you that, you know, Lucy Charles-Barclay, day to day, what kind of makes this work, really? Obviously, you've got Reese by your side.
He's the main one making it all work. He makes sure all the cogs are ticking.
I hear there's less swimming and biking going on these days, more running.
More sending emails. Yeah, we've got a fantastic team. Obviously, Dan Lorang is your main coach. He does all the programming for your racing. We have Holly, who's not here today, but she does all of your media. Evan is your manager, and then we have fantastic sponsors. You have.
Is she a scary boss?
Yeah, she is. Yeah. You have very high expectations, but you expect a lot of yourself as well. So
I put the same expectations on myself.
yeah.
Nice, good. We filmed quite a bit together over the years, particularly sort of 5-6 years ago, when obviously you're already doing some amazing things, but you've absolutely skyrocketed since. And like, how has life changed since 5 or 6 years ago?
I'd say it hasn't changed massively, has it? Like, we're still quite grounded. We obviously live on the edge of London, so we have good friends and family here that also kind of definitely bring us back down to reality after a good result, or they just actually put things into perspective when we have a bad race as well. So we're able to move on quite quickly from that. We've got our 2 dogs that definitely are the best distraction ever, just walking them and taking our mind off of triathlon. But maybe I get the odd few more selfies even when I'm at home in London, which never used to happen before. But yeah, to be honest, we just get on with our job at home and pretty much get left alone. So yeah, not much has changed.
How about then in terms of the kit you're using? Because there's so much in terms of technological advancements, the aerodynamic testing. Me and Reese were talking about this earlier, and just how much has moved on even in the last 2 or 3 years. Has that been something that you're continually sort of trying to keep up with and testing? Like I saw a couple of years ago, you were in the wind tunnel doing a load of tri-suit testing. You basically found out the Rise-On suit was the quickest one for you, right? And then, yeah, that's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I think we were sort of speaking about this the other day, that we felt like we were possibly ahead of the curve to begin with in terms of aerodynamics. We were doing it quite early into my career, and now it feels like everyone is doing it, and all of the equipment is advancing, and if you're not constantly doing that, you're going to be left behind. So it's something that we're always looking at. And last year my long-term kit sponsor agreement had finished with who I had before, and we were kind of open to try every single brand on the market. So we were in the wind tunnel, I think January last year, trying every single kit, and it turns out that Rise-On was the fastest for me, and we've been continuing to work with them to develop that suit to make it even faster. I feel like we'd found the fastest, but that's not good enough. We're going to continue to make it even faster. Yeah. So that's been a really great partnership that we've jumped into last year.
Brilliant. Okay, and then in terms of your training day to day then, because you do a lot indoors, am I right in saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cold here at the moment. The sun is shining though, and we are going to ride outside today, which is nice. But I do a big chunk indoors. We're really lucky where we live. We also have an amazing forest, so we do a lot of trail running in there, but it's also really muddy at the moment. I'd say a big chunk indoors, obviously swimming here at the London Aquatics Centre, riding on the VeloPark, and then the rest of it is probably on Zwift.
Like, I'm intrigued in terms of the psychological side of things. Like, do you just quite simply enjoy completing a session and literally to the T as it's prescribed? Or does it sometimes get a little bit mundane being indoors? Because I think some people suit it, some people don't, and clearly it works for you.
Yeah, I do enjoy the variety when we go to Lanzarote. Like actually when we went to in January, we went to Lanzarote for 3 weeks and I did every single ride outside and it was like really nice. And then you come back home and I feel like time actually moves a bit slower indoors, but then you just kind of readjust to it. And if you've got a workout that you're following indoors and you can be on Zwift, and we've got a team club on there now which we're enjoying, I think all of that
I think
makes
also
it go
like when
quicker.
you've come from, I think that's probably the one benefit of coming from a swim background.
Definitely.
Is
Anything's better than following a black line.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing is more boring than that. So
yeah, it's
just,
true.
Just having your character to look at
And music
is
or
fun.
you can watch a bit of YouTube. You can't do that in the pool.
Yeah.
So
And there is obviously the simplicity of it, of just jumping on a trainer, shorts and jersey, whatever you're wearing, and just go rather than trying to, here in the UK right now, countless layers. But talking of which, we're going to have to go and layer up and head out now. So see you in a second out there.
So, what, hour, 90 minutes?
Yeah, about 90 minutes. We'll see how long if we get too cold.
Okay, this is just easier.
Yes.
I think I can do this one. I'm on a TT bike, so who knows?
Okay, let's go.
There we go. That was a bit windier than I was expecting.
It got windier, I think.
Yeah, I've never been here before, so yeah, it's been good. I was a little bit sceptical about riding around a mile loop over and over, but I actually enjoyed there's something quite rhythmic about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you get in the zone and you just...
Apparently she's done 3 hours around here before. Give it a go.
Well, 90 minutes was plenty for me today. Now, it's been a lot of fun catching up with Lucy and Reese, and great to see Lucy in such good shape. A huge thanks to them for having us along, and to Rise On for making this all happen. We really can't wait to see Lucy racing again soon.